This is the Regained Wellness Podcast with Jamie Logie, episode 172, Why the Squat is the number one exercise. Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the podcast, or welcome if you're new. Thanks for coming on out. I'm Jamie. I run regainedwellness.com, and this is Regained Wellness Podcast. And today is all specifically fitness related. And we're talking about the squat and why it is the king of all exercises, why it's not only to get strong, but it can help you get fit overall. It can improve your overall body composition, like a lot of crazy stuff. And this whole show is going to be all about that. Just before we start, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. That way you get the shows automatically sent to you. I don't have to hand deliver them or mail them. Everybody's happy. Okay, let's do this. So everyone's always looking for like the new exercise or some secret weapon to get them fitter or to get you bigger and stronger. And people try endless amounts of, supplements. They research like extreme new exercises. I don't know if you ever walk around a gym and this happens when you see new trainers in gyms. They're doing like some of the most ridiculous like acrobatic based exercises just because they're new and they want to look, just like they're bringing the most, current groundbreaking sort of approaches to fitness when it's really the tried and true things that get the results. And that's why we're talking about squats and how if you are working out and you're fit and doing some strength training, why squats need to be the foundation of your whole workout. So if you want to boost strength, muscle, athletic performance, you need to squat. And the problem is they are difficult, and that's what makes them so effective. Like if you're in the gym, it's easier to do an arm workout or an ab workout or even just like a shoulder workout and cardio. It's easier to do those over leg days and squat training, but it needs to remain the cornerstone of your training. So this is just the whole focus here, that if you want to boost your fitness and get real results, this is why you need to squat. So to look at the benefits of the squat, the obvious one is squatting works all your leg muscles, but it goes a lot further than that. Squats can build up basically your entire body because of the demanding nature that it takes just to perform them. So when you do a barbell back-weighted squat, it creates a real anabolic environment in your body, and that provides body-wide muscle growth. It's like when you are doing a squat, a free weight barbell weight squat, it puts your body into a super defensive position and it activates your sympathetic nervous system. This is kind of like your fight or flight mode. I don't know if this goes back to our ancient days of strapping some dead animal on your back or having to carry someone out of danger. Basically, it creates this surge of things like testosterone, growth hormone, and both of these are vital for muscle growth. And you probably hear about like growth hormone when it comes to illegal drug use and baseball players and bodybuilders, but it's in your body. It is, obviously a naturally occurring hormone, very important. And it is seen to be one of those hormones that they consider sort of the fountain of youth. When you have a good, stable range of growth hormone, it does prevent like premature aging and stuff. And when it does plummet too low, that's, when the effects of aging can kind of rapidly be enhanced. So these are good things you don't want to worry about. And when it comes to, fitness and muscle and everything like that, this elevated hormone level from doing exercises like squats will help you build muscle mass in other areas of your body besides your legs. You can get this same effect from other big compound movements like deadlifts is another good way to boost natural growth hormone levels. Bench presses to a certain extent, but like nothing touches the output from the body like barbell squats. Even when they look at what they call heart rate variability, if you do, and when it's, these increases in the heart rate variability, and without getting too deep into it, that's related to the sympathetic nervous system and the growth hormone output and all that sort of stuff. If you have one of those monitors that is measuring the heart rate variability, and you're wearing it through all sorts of things, from walking upstairs to putting groceries away to doing a 100-meter sprint to boxing to whatever, nothing has as much impact as a bodyweight squat. It just takes the cake as far as that, and that's what activates that sympathetic nervous system and the accompanying hormone releases and everything like that. So squats are also going to help your athletic performance, as your ability to run and jump is now significantly improved. And that's obviously sounding very sports specific, and you might not be an athlete or whatnot, but this has a carryover to everyday life. This can make day-to-day activities much easier, as squats will help you build balance, strength, coordination. If it's, you're playing with your kids or your grandkids, it helps in picking them up and balance. Or if you're just like simple mundane tasks, like taking groceries from the car into the house, you just have more stability. You're less likely to injure yourself. You have a better base of strength. It truly has this carryover effect. I mean, as humans, we're meant to be on our feet all the time, and we need a strong base, like a real core, not just like your core abdominal muscles, but like a base core as far as leg strength, for just stature and mobility and everything like that. So when we're looking at the actual squat and the muscles that are used, there are a lot. So, I mean, the main ones you're going to work, your thighs and your hips and your glutes. You hit all of your quads. So you got your vastus lateralis, your vastus medialis, the vastus intermedius, and the rectus femoris. You're working your hamstrings. You're working, beyond these big muscles. Squats are also going to help you strengthen your bones, your tendons, ligaments throughout your entire lower body. Even just like your muscles in your feet and your ankles, and just the stability and all these little stabilizer muscles, everything jumps into action when you're doing a squat. So let's look at how to properly do a squat. So, I mean, obviously we're listening here, so this is a bit tougher, but it's more about giving some pointers that you can take. If you go to the show notes today, so regainedwellness.com/172, that's got more information and stuff. And I'll put some videos just some quick like YouTube clips just to see it. I mean, you know what a squat looks like and how it should be, and it's just something you can look up easily yourself. But this is, so even though this is an audio format, I'll give you some pointers just to think about. So the funny thing is, like with any of these big compound movements like deadlifts or bench presses, it's a very simple motion. Like with a squat, you basically squat down and stand up. That's all there is to it. But there are a lot of little things to make it more perfected and to avoid injury and to engage your body properly. So on any day where you'd be doing squats, first thing you want to do is start with a good 5-10 minute warm up. You need you need good blood flow to the muscles and get your heart rate up. So you can use a stationary bike. It's a great way to do this. You can also throw in some dynamic stretching, and that's just simply doing things like leg swings. If you're to stand facing a wall with your hands up against it, taking one leg at a time and swinging it side to side for 15 to 20 reps, switch to the other one. And then if you have enough room, doing like knee kicks where you swing your knee up like you're trying to hit yourself in the chest, then swing it right back where you're trying to get your heel up to touch like the ceiling. Same thing, like 15 to 20 of those. It can serve as part of a warm-up. It also increases blood flow to the muscle, engages the muscle. Like dynamic stretching is awesome. Stretching is kind of the wrong term there because it's a full like activation and use of your muscles. So they work well thrown in at the start of workouts. So squats, then, if you're doing whether it's a full body workout, just a specific leg day. Squats are best done at the start of your workout when your strength levels are at their highest. Same thing with those other big compound movements. If you do deadlifts and that's on, like, say, an upper body day, or you're doing various split workouts or whatever, save that for the first exercise while your strength's at its highest. Same like with bench presses, big compound movements. Try and put them earlier on when you're a little fresher and a little more engaged. So here are some of the main pointers. Let's look at foot position is going to be just about shoulder width apart. When you line your feet up with your shoulder, that's going to give you your best base of stability. It keeps everything lined up. I mean, if they go a little outside, it's all right, a little inside. But when they go too much in either direction, that's when you can get into balance issues and potential, falls or injuries or whatever. So your back is going to be straight and what they call your spine in a neutral position, which basically just means keeping as straight as possible, keeping your knees centered over your feet. You can have your knees, I don't like saying the word flail, but sort of extend a little outwards. This is more dependent on your body mechanics and composition. And the main thing is you don't want your knees going inward. That's not a good sign. That's either you've got to reduce the weight or, probably reduce the weight first and then really work on the form. With a natural squatting motion, you'll see these sometimes referenced in like fitness articles and stuff. Look at a toddler or a 2 or 3 year old. They have this natural, perfect squatting ability. I think you can picture what I say or what I'm saying. When they get down, everything is like aligned and compact, and they're just like, it's kind of proof how we're built to squat that way. And you sometimes see their knees will be going a little outwards, and that's just based on how the structure of your body is to your knees, to bone lengths and stuff like that. So if you keep one thing in mind, just make sure your knees are not going inwards. When you start the motion, as far as bar position, it's going to be anywhere where they say like higher bar squats, where it's going to be just, at the base of your neck. There's other ones where you can get a little lower, where the bar goes lower down your back. I'd say that's a little more advanced. So probably something you don't have to worry about. That's for getting into like some serious heavy squatting. So normally it's just at the base of your neck. Your hands are going to be gripping the bar just outside of shoulder width again too, and you want to keep your elbows kind of pointed directly to the ground. You don't want them like flailing backwards and pointing out too much. You want to keep them kind of locked tight in and pointing. So as you're going down, you're going to inhale through the nose, and in one controlled motion, slowly bend your knees, hips, and ankles and lower till you're at least that 90-degree angle. And this is where you want to keep the weight on the front of your heel. And you want to make sure your head is up and your chest is up and extended out. So think of those things just being like, think about like puffing up your chest, and important, keep your head positioned up and not like bent down forward or anything like that. As you're on the way up, you want to breathe out on the way up, but keep your core engaged. There's always like pointers on core engagement. What that means is just keep things tight. Like picture that someone's going to punch you in the stomach. You have to like flex your stomach. That's the idea that you want. And that serves as like a natural weightlifting belt. Your core are all these muscles that, like, we think of like your abs and stuff, but it's all these muscles that surround your spinal column, and they help brace your body. And you see weightlifters that use weightlifting belts, and that's just to give more brace and more stability to your back. And for the average person, they're probably not very helpful, because what they do is they prevent those natural core structural muscles from supporting your whole body, as the belt takes the brunt of the weight, and your abs can actually relax too much. But make sure you keep things tight and controlled, and that's going to work as that natural stability. So you're going to then keep your feet flat as you return to a standing position. As you're pushing up, picture that you're pushing like the entire earth away from you as you stand. Like the entire planet is just being pushed down as you stand up, and that's just going to transfer the energy, through the ground up, from the bar, through the muscles, everything like that. One other tip is This is a tough one, but if you are, I mean, most squat racks in any gym have mirrors in front of them, and it's hard not to be watching yourself. This can actually be a little dangerous because it doesn't help for balance and coordination. When you watch yourself, there's sort of a connection between your visuals and what your eyes taking in and your muscle control and balance. You're better off to pick one point, whether it's like just above the mirror or like if there's a little spot on the mirror, and keep your eyes locked onto that. And it's actually going to help more with stability as opposed to watching, your eyes are going like up and down, and it can lead to potential balance problems and stuff like that. So when we're looking at repetitions and sets and stuff like that, so depending on your goals, these things are going to vary. If you're looking for strength gains, like straight up strength gains, you're looking in the 3 to 5 rep range, even like 1 to 3, but that's getting more into a powerlifting phase. And that's where you're going to be getting longer rest periods of at least 2 to 3 minutes, upwards of 5 minutes if you're doing these heavy repetitions. If you're looking for normal muscle gains and general fitness, you can train in somewhere between the 12 to 15 repetition range. And that's going to change a lot too. I mean, some days you might be able to crank out, maybe 9 or 10. It might be a little heavy and you might want to back the weight off a bit. You might be able to do, 16 or 17 one day. That's cool too. You might want, the legs respond a little better to higher repetitions. But somewhere between 12 to 15. When we're looking at the speed of the repetitions, as you're going down, you want to go down for at least like a 3 count and then up for, around a 1 to 2 count. So if I'm starting from a standing position, I'm going down like 1, 2, 3, and then standing up 1, 2. And that would be, around 4 to 5 seconds per repetition. And that's going to get you the best muscle recruitment, muscle fiber use, better results as far as building back lean muscle strength, all that sort of stuff. So if you're doing in this 12 to 15 rep range, you can do anywhere from 2 to 4 sets. I would start with 1 warm-up set, maybe 2 warm-up sets. Like if you've already done the biking or whatever form of cardio to get your heart rate up, you threw in some dynamic stretching. You can throw in a couple sets of just the bar on its own, or even just like a body weight squat if you're not doing a lot of weight, just to kind of get your everything sort of familiar. And it's kind of like training your muscles. It's like a heads up for them to see what's going to be needing as far as recruitment wise, as the weights go up and stuff like that. So when you're looking at rest times here, at least 90 seconds, upwards of maybe 2 minutes. I mean, like, remember, this is consider this a full body exertion here. Even though it's your legs being trained, it requires a lot of your central nervous system, and you don't want to overtax it. So the problem is your cardiovascular system tends to recover quicker than your muscular endurance system. So you could do a set and then feel like you're ready to go in 45 seconds because you have decent cardiovascular recovery, but your muscles aren't ready. So you're like, okay, I feel good, jump in, and you're like 3 reps, 4, 5, boom, and then it sort of hits you because your muscular endurance hasn't recovered yet. So at least a minute and 15 seconds to get into that proper muscle recovery. But with a leg workout where it's a little more taxing and demanding, at least a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. So I'm just going to go through a little more of the details on the barbell squats. Like I said, it never hurts to like repeat all this stuff because it's a very specific motion. Like I said, there's the high bar squat where you have to hold the barbell placed and supported more, like the base of the neck at the top of the traps. The low bar, it sits down. Your elbows are going to be really pulled in, but I said a little more advanced. But the differences are, when you're looking for muscle recruitment, the high bar squat, which is the normal way, it's going to build more muscle in your quads and your glutes, and it's going to translate well over to other lifts and activities and sports and stuff like that. So you're not always able to squat as deep, and it will actually let you squat a bit deeper, but it may not let you able to squat as much weight compared to a lower bar squat. It allows you more weight, but it also incorporates the hamstrings more than a high bar squat. And the low bar squat maybe better if you have bad knees, is it creates a better balance around them. So that's something you'd want to look into a little deeper and to research if you have those knee issues. So it doesn't always have to be the bars. You can do bodyweight squats. It follows the same steps as outlined that I just shared, but without the bar. So there's a few things you can do as far as your hand placement. If you do a bodyweight squat, you can cross them across your chest. You can clasp them just together in front of you like you're praying, or even hold them above your head if you want to make them even more intense. So the cool thing with a bodyweight squat is you can make it more of an athletic movement, because you can add in like a jump squat, like exploding out of the bottom and extending upwards, and then a controlled landing into the descent lowering phase. So that's an awesome workout right there. So if you're wondering how much you should squat, it's a tough one again. It's like any other skill. You need to regularly do it to progress and improve on them. So there are many factors again how much. These are always tough to answer, like how much you should be able to squat. It's dependent on your age, your sex, your experience lifting, your body weight, your physical makeup. But if you're progressing, rule of thumb, you should be able to squat at least your body weight with good form for one repetition. If you're starting out, a good standard is to squat 75 to 80% of your body weight. Just if you want to test, as you get more advanced, you may be able to squat your body weight plus 40 to 60% of your body weight for one repetition. But like I said, when it comes to like the reps, if you're doing sets of 12 to 15, it's choosing a weight where around 15, like I said, 12 to 15, you're like, that's about enough. You might be able to do a couple more. These you don't want to go to failure on, because that can be pretty dangerous. Something that's challenging and stopping just short of being able to do at least one or two more. That's a good rule of thumb there. A few other variations of the squat. Regular free weight barbell squats are the king of exercises, but if you want to mix it up, there are other versions you can do. Same principles really apply when you execute any form of squatting motion. So and some of the benefits that come, like the bodyweight squats, they will allow you to do more repetitions and burn more calories. So that's the advantage there. You've got a goblet squat, which you've seen probably when people hold a dumbbell or a kettlebell kind of up under your chin and close to your chest. That's good for balance and coordination. There's front squats. So this is when you switch the emphasis more towards your quads. You have to cut down the weight, and the position of the bar is where you rest it on your front shoulders. You use a shoulder width grip, and you kind of swing your elbows up underneath so they're pointing upwards and forwards, and you hold it there. This is something a little more advanced, but a very good way to just make it more of a quad workout. There's overhead squats. These are pretty nuts, but they really help in balance, core strength, muscular control. It's basically when you press the barbell overhead with a pretty wide grip, with your hands that'll be closer to where the weights would go on, where the cuff part is. You're going to keep the bar over your center of gravity while you squat. Again, needs to be lighter weight. You can do this with like a broomstick or just a smaller bar and still get a good workout from it. Then you've got, last one, a Bulgarian split squat. So these look like you're doing lunges, but you still hold the bar on your back like a regular squat. Again, you have to cut down the weight here. You're going to have a bench where you're going to put one foot up behind it, and you're going to have just a normal foot position in front. You're going to place, so you're going to push your hips back like in a regular squat and let your back leg bend at the knee. Again, this is sort of hard to picture as I'm describing, but you can look it up. You're basically going to lower until your front leg reaches parallel, or your back knee touches the ground. Then you're going to do around 12 to 15 repetitions on that first leg before you switch over to the other. You can do regular lunges too, which are on the ground. You can do them like alternating steps, or start with one leg and do the 12 to 15 repetitions and then switch over to the next one. So lots of different forms and variations, but again, I'll wrap it up here. If you are working out, everything's feeling good, healthy, no joint problems, any forms of squat, primarily a barbell squat, is going to be a real cornerstone of your fitness and strength training program to help you just get healthier all over, fitter, stronger, more lean muscle. It's a good one. So yeah, like you can go to the show notes, like I said, regainedwellness.com/172, or just, I mean, there's a million awesome tutorials and YouTube videos to look up if you just want some more visual pointers. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks for listening. Hope you learned a lot. If you like the show, again, make sure you subscribe. If you really like it, leave a rating and review. That way more people get to see it and everybody's happy. Okay, thanks for listening. See you later.